one thing we can take away from this is that the scene has not changed much in 10 years.
Yeah.
But then the scene has changed radically from 1977 to even the late 90s.
Right.
When Steve first came here. And I can say that it's changed almost none in the 5 years I've been coming here, except for the undergrowth increasing a little bit more each year. So something happened between 1977 and 1999.
Well, just growth.
That sandbar looks virtually identical in the 77 photographs, and there's anything like it to be found in that state right now. So 25 years were critical.
Yeah.
We can't find anyone who can provide photographs in that time interval.
What happened? But that tree supposedly falling down was in the early mid-'80s. According to Steenberg. I guess he was here in '83.
Right, well, Steenberg knows his stuff, so he should be a good reference. It'd be nice if we had it published somewhere, though.
Well, he had photos, but those are the ones that were taken by his wife in the divorce, and they not even exist anymore. But he said he saw the big tree, and he saw a tree had fallen down on the sandbar, which I don't see any sign of here. And he saw the remnants of the log, kind of like that, sort of buried in the... I don't know that is the log that you see.
There are many candidates for that log.
But that's kind of what he's talking about, partially buried and rotting away. And he was able to see that in '83.
Partially buried log.
Well, that's still almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, 30 years ago now.
But I think this is the best lineup that we can get. I mean, unless these trees are included in the film somehow.
Well, see, you can go around that corner and start this whole procedure again.
Yes, and you won't see as many of the trees lining up quite as well as this one. But this, to be the big tree, I agree that it seems odd that the roots are not down farther, closer to the sand. But you can kind of see that there's a channel here. There's some subsidence here and erosion off the hillside there.
Steven, let me ask you this question. That tree right in front of you, you think, see how the root goes down, does a weird thing, big old L? You think that would be more noticeable in the film?
Well, that would, I think, been buried by...
You think the silt line's that high
buried by sand.
You think it was that high up?
It seems a little high.
Yeah, it does.
All right, I'm now at least as high up as you are.
Okay, you're still in the depression, though.
So, I'm higher up than you are over there. Maybe
I'm higher than you are, and I'm on the level. I'm just thinking what the level of the sandbar would have been up a couple of paces up higher, I think.
Well,
you're below me. Your feet are below where mine are, I think.
Steve, you're taller than me, and I'm looking down on you.
I'm looking down on you. Okay, we're talking about 5, 6 feet.
I am definitely above you now.
Yeah.
And that tree root base is still far above me. And we know it didn't look this way.
No, but those roots right there, this would have probably all been sand covering them up. But we don't have an exact measurement. It didn't sit exactly on the gravel bar.
No, but we know that when that tree started to grow, these are roots, and that's the stump. It wouldn't have formed like that if that was under the dirt or silt at that time. That's the way, that was the height of the soil when that tree started to grow.
Yeah.
And we know it didn't look this way in 1977. So we know that all this soil, over 10 feet of it, didn't disappear between 2011 and 1977. This is just completely implausible that this is one of the big trees. It makes no sense. We know what the site looked like in 1977. We know there hasn't been a catastrophic flood between then and now. This can't fit.
But you're assuming that the tree has to be right on the bottom of the
No,
level.
it doesn't have to be on the bottom. It just has to be within half of Patty's height or thereabouts. It has to be within a reasonable, a reasonable error, depending on your perspective and camera angle, up or down, and some subsidence, some erosion possible.
Hey, what about the next tree down this way? What about that one there?
Well, once again, we get down there, and
there's another one there.
We've been there last year, and it was also quite high off the ground.
Let's go there one more time.
And we get down there, and then we're really shoehorning in because of how steep the canyon is on the opposite side. A lot of difference in height to explain.
So the camera position back here, and see where the trees are, they're off this way. So we're looking down this way when we're in the film. This is like after frame 352 goes this way, and that arrow is pointing at a subsequent trajectory of the creature, the pathway. It doesn't shoehorn it in because the film would have started down here.
Right,
and filmed up against this and moved that way.
I'm thinking about the second half of the film, which you don't see on TV much.
Yeah.
Including as she walks off and the camera ends, and comparing that with Titmus's tracking notes from the next week or two. So that means that she's got to get downstage and then disappear into tall trees, cross the creek and come back. All the while, or most of the while, Roger's still following after her.
But the debris pile is supposedly right in here.
Well,
she dodges through the alders and then retreats out through here. And those trees you're seeing at the end are at the very end of the film site. They're not going to show up in here.
No.
But there's debris piles in that area.
I don't see that turning into this from 1977 to 2010.
But if we're looking at it from that angle, you don't need that much because the big trees are already at they're basically at the end of the site up there.
Well, yeah, some of them are, but
if that's correct, the way I laid that thing on there.
Right, but by the end of the film, though, Roger is basically where the red arrow is and filming in the direction of the red arrow, almost directly behind her. So he's made an almost 90-degree turn in the direction of the camera and the filming. And that's why I'm saying we're going to end up pointing out that way. And somehow she's got to get buried in trees that direction, get across the creek and back up behind them. And that's why I'm saying we go down there, and that one of those becomes a big tree from 352. Then we're really running out of space pretty quickly.
Right. That's why you have to include...
And those trees, we've been there, those trees are also very high up off the ground. They're growing on the slope. They've always been growing on the slope.
Well, there may be some measure of optical trickery. I really would like to study that tree and see if we can ascertain how close really is it to growing in the ground or just appearing to grow in the ground.
Well, I think we have a really good chance of doing that. If we can make a case, I'm sure Bill will be happy to use the best high-resolution copies of the film to look into that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think even some of the stuff we have available projected would help with that question. To see if we're looking at just a few feet or if it's indeterminate.
Well, I just think from a small camera, from that distance, it might compress the apparent height that thing is growing.
Oh,
and I think there is at least a couple of feet of subsidence here in the soil.
Well, the water has eroded some stuff away. So, hey, let's humor me on this one. There are some stumps down there. Let's go straight back that way, and let me show you the stumps. And there's also trees on the right-hand corner. right at the edge of the bowling alley.
Yeah.
So let's go look at that just in case. I mean, you guys talked about, well, then there would have to be trees over there. Well, there are some trees over there on the edge of the bowling alley spot on the far right. So let's go take a look at those.
Each one of these big trees as we go.
Yeah,
I think. And also, look, there's some vine maple turning red.
There's lots of vine maples, but then how old are those vine maples? Is the big question. They don't grow very big.
I think we just want to prove.
But it's red.
When vine maples turn red, and it's not from blood stains or anything like that.
Yeah, I think we're beyond that.
But yeah, as we move down here, just remember these trees and possible stumps we're looking at are once again at the beginning of the film, or the first part of the middle sequence.
Okay.
So once again, we're going to have a lot of trouble fitting the rest of the film into this area because of how steep the canyon walls are.
Right.
Something we've remarked upon before.
Well, if we have stumps, though, they should be in this area.
Well,
If these are
exactly.
the trees.
The stumps are the start of the middle sequence.
And if these are the trees, that's
And the stumps
then the
are
stump
not-
should be here.
They're not right
Exactly.
up against the wall of the canyon.
No.
They're on the sandbar mark.
So right now, if these were the trees, where would the stumps be? Where would they have to be?
Stumps would actually be out in here,
Okay.
or
Like-
even behind
Maybe
you.
right behind to your right there.
Okay, behind
the
my
stumps
right.
were in the foreground. The stumps were in front of the trees by 20 or more feet.
In various places.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's head down there. I do want to show you those stumps I looked at.
That one does look a little too